me switching something.
In the ring, I'm an exciting person. I come out, guns blazing, and both hugs.
To say it was a kind of a more tactical start.
Gary Antuanne Russell is a rare breed of puncher, combining filigree timing with devastating power. A southpaw with machine gun hands who doesn't need loud comparisons, his knockout ratio speaks for itself. Raised by a self-taught father, he made his way to the world elite without any academies or fancy gyms. Now, this basement prospect is quietly breaking former champions in absolute silence.
Of a structure that was definitely needed in a male's life.
While his older brother collected titles and cameras, Antuanne stood in the shadows and silently absorbed. His father didn't teach him pretty boxing. He taught him the anatomy of destruction.
I only bring out my bag when it's necessary. I'm not about to bring out no sledgehammer when I need a screwdriver.
Stop, man. That ain't the jab, man. Pop the jab.
A southpaw with machine gun hands who saw a hole in the defense a second before the opponent could even blink. This system worked in the amateurs. It worked at national tournaments. Even after the Olympic experience in Rio 2016, where he confidently passed the early fights but was stopped by a controversial judge's decision. Where he was blatantly robbed in the quarterfinals against the Uzbek Gaib Nazarov, but the system didn't glitch. It just recalibrated its sights for the pros.
Keeping your hands up after you punch.
From his very first professional bouts, it became clear, Russell doesn't just swing with power, he distributes it. He rolled through like a steamroller, demolishing everyone in his path. Every fight looked like a day at work. Clean, methodical, no wasted movements. But sometimes, this work turned into pure annihilation. Experienced Mexican Jose Arturo Esquivel planned to derail the young Russell's pressure and impose his own game. But the fight ended before it even began, in less than 30 seconds.
Andre Berto, Devin Alexander immediately starting with some hooks to the body is Gary Russell and sends down Esquivel.
One brutal body shot, and Esquivel, doubled over in pain, crashed to the canvas. No chance to continue.
And still undefeated, Antuanne Russell.
Roberto Almazan came out to avenge his countryman, but ended up just repeating his route to the canvas. Right from the start, a left hook landed so heavy that the broadcast commentators couldn't contain their emotions. Russell didn't let his opponent breathe. This wasn't just a single punch working anymore. It was a crushing tonnage. Combination after combination, brutal bodywork, and constant pressure.
6 rounds. Super lightweight bout. It's a lot easier to take a knee on that.
Already in the first round, Almazan took a knee, trying to buy just a couple of seconds of oxygen.
But Almazan is actually, he's did a couple nice little cute.
In the second round, it all repeated, but with renewed force. Short jabs quickly backed the Mexican into a corner, and a heavy right hand sent him to the deck again.
More in this. As he goes down, Almazan is down on his knees.
Roberto managed to get up, but immediately caught a left overhand.
Ooh, good right hand by Almazan.
Under this final hail of punches, he took a knee for the third time.
With the counter left hand.
He got it right back, Joe.
Russell,
And Russell's got him in the ropes.
The best supposed to fight the best.
Absolutely. And 140 pounds, it's shark-infested waters in there, man. There's a lot of sharks in there.
And I'm trying to take them in deep waters. Let's go.
The following fights only confirmed the status quo. Antuanne kept walking over bones, not noticing the resistance. By his 14th bout, there was no room for accidents on his record. 13 wins, 13 knockouts in the early rounds. But Giovanni Santiago was no stepping stone. This was a concrete Puerto Rican who had just gone the distance with Adrian Broner in a dead-even fight. He came to drag Antuanne into deep waters, but instead got caught under a hydraulic press. For the first 3 rounds, Russell simply dictated the rules. In the fourth, a systematic dismantling began. A heavy shot sent Santiago into a deep knockdown.
Oh, there's a big shot down. Go, Santiago.
4, 5, 6.
The Puerto Rican was surviving on pure instinct.
Goes on the offensive as he senses that the end could be near for Joe.
But by the 6th round, Antuanne started unloading entire magazines of punches on him. Santiago's legs turned to jelly. His head became a stationary target. Giovanni's corner, seeing their fighter being methodically destroyed, made the only right decision. They didn't let him out for the 7th round.
There's another straight left, snapping back the head, another one. Sharon says watching the action and that
Antuanne proved his power doesn't evaporate after the opening storm. He is ready to break those considered unbreakable. But it's one thing to break tough veterans, and quite another to face a chess player with a championship pat. Antuanne worked in his signature style, cold-bloodedly knocking the wind out of his opponent with body shots. The damage accumulated with every minute. In the 4th round, the sound of Russell's body shots reached the back rows of the arena. Mojica instinctively dropped his elbows, exposing his head. In one of those pauses, a right hook landed right on target. Russell instantly switched into predator mode. He literally dragged the Nicaraguan along the ropes, raining down a hail of punches and not letting him take a single breath. Mojica miraculously survived this meat grinder, tried to snap back, but immediately caught a counter left. 9. His jab worked like a zeroed-in rifle, forcing Russell to work at his absolute limit.
Wearing the colors of his native. There's a couple straight lefts. And going to midsection to Postol.
Antuanne pressured, but the Ukrainian caught him with counter uppercuts and stiff straight punches.
So looking to cut off the ring and make.
By the middle of the fight, the main question arose: how would Russell's gas tank hold up? Would his cold mind boil over in deep waters? The answer came in the championship rounds. Antuanne literally began to grind down the veteran's resistance.
30s and early 40s. I don't think that's what Postol got into the sport of boxing for, and really affect his rhythm and his timing. And
in the 8th and 9th, Russell's straight left increasingly rattled Victor's head. Antuanne simply walked through the counterpunches, showing his power isn't just about the explosion, it's about the attrition.
what Freddie Roach was telling him, because it is not to be the case so far, at least through the first minute and change in the 8th.
The climax came in the 10th. With 40 seconds left, Russell caught Postol with a crushing right hook.
Beautiful combination there by Russell. He's got Postol hurt. Postol is hurt. He's back on the ropes. Ortega.
Victor wobbled, but stayed on his feet, ready to fight to the bitter end. However, referee Mike Ortega decided otherwise and stepped between the fighters. The stoppage sparked debate, but the fact was recorded. Antuanne Russell became the first man to stop the granite-chinned Postol inside the distance. 15 wins, 15 knockouts. The world saw that this kid is not a sprinter, but a marathon runner with a cannon in each hand. But the heaviest blow didn't come inside the ring.
My father is kind of like the main component of our machinery. And now that he's not there anymore, we're moving forward.
3 months after the triumph in Vegas, the boxing world shuddered. On May 23, 2022, Gary Russell Sr., the architect of this empire and creator of the system, passed away at the age of 63. The quietest and most dangerous of the brothers was left one-on-one with his legacy, without the main voice in his corner. The world held its breath. Would this finely tuned mechanism fall apart without its creator? Or would the grief turn into an even more destructive fury?
While you're winning and undefeated, you think you're invincible. Why?
The answer came on July 30th, 2022, in Brooklyn. And that night almost turned into a disaster. Rances Barthelemy, a sly Cuban fox, a two-time world champion. He didn't just come to test the prospect, he came to break him. And in the very first round, the world saw something it had never seen before. Russell flinched. A heavy right cross from the Cuban nearly threw Antuanne through the ropes. Without his father's familiar voice in the corner, Russell had to survive on pure instinct.
Nice series of left hands as Russell stepped to the right.
In the fourth round, Barthelemy landed 2 clean left hands, first getting Russell's attention.
And tonight we're seeing that punch from him.
Gary Russell Jr. had surgery.
And later forcing him into an awkward step back near the end of the round.
Man, this is
Great exchanges and a left hand by Barthelemy. What a fight!
But even in those exchanges, Russell found his moments, landing shots of his own and refusing to break.
Barthelemy comes back, goes to the body.
The defense, built for years in a Maryland basement, showed its first crack. The fight turned gritty, intense, and completely even. Every exchange could change everything. And in the 6th round, it finally did. One short, sharp, whipping right hook.
This guy Barthelemy switched and stopped.
It wasn't a big knockdown. The Cuban got back up, slightly unsteady, clearly followed the referee's commands. But something seemed to concern referee Shady Murdo. Barthelemy froze in disbelief. The stands erupted in boos. It was a victory with a bitter aftertaste. Antuanne kept his perfect record, 16 knockouts, but for the first time, there was no triumph in his eyes.
My whole goal, I wipe out my whole division.
After 2 controversial stoppages against Postol and Barthelemy, a shadow hung over Antuanne's perfect record. The boxing world whispered, the judges are helping him. He's not finishing them himself. On August 12, 2023, in his native Maryland, Russell didn't just need to win, he needed to put the fear back into his opponent's eyes. Kent Cruz entered the ring carrying baggage, a missed weight cut and obvious nervousness. But Russell didn't care about other people's excuses. He came out to kill the suspense.
65 in round 1.
Midway through the first round, after an accidental clash of heads, his opponent got distracted with the referee, and Antuanne stayed on him, landing 3 clean shots in quick succession. He managed to get up, but it was only a delay. The signature left to the body, sharp and heavy as an axe blow, dug right under the ribs.
The weird thing is, I was just about to say it was a kind of a more tactical start. Now, though, Cruz again.
Cruz was back on the canvas, and this time his body simply refused to obey. 17 fights, 17 knockouts, no arguments, no complaints about the referee. Antuanne silenced the critics in just 159 seconds. He proved, even without his father in the corner, his predator instinct hadn't gone anywhere.